Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
Do you wish we had transporters in real life?
No.
Even with how much time it'd save?
Nope.
Because of the glitches like in the movie?
No, it's because they would never accept weather as a reason not to go to work anymore.
All this and more on Gory Storytime.
Warning. Gory Storytime is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Storytime. I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and his father, Craig. And for those who didn't see the title when you clicked on this video, and
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Oh.
yes, that's it. Yeah, we should have done a Leprechaun movie, except...
A leprechaun in space.
And then we would have
Horror,
been...
sci-fi.
Oops.
All right.
No, that movie
Gotta
is
go rewatch
bad,
that.
and he didn't want to end on a bad movie, to be fair.
Maybe it's a fun bad movie like A Leprechaun in the Hood.
We were looking through movies to figure out what our fourth one was going to be, and he actually said, he's like, since we're not sure if that'll be good and it seems iffy, let's review one that we know is good.
Yeah.
Because we really don't like crapping on movies. But anyway, for those who can see behind me, we are reviewing The Fly, the 1986 version, not the original from 51. Yes. And the basic premise is there's a scientist. He wants to figure out transportation as far as...
Teleportation.
Teleportation, that's what I meant. The idea of breaking you down molecularly and then reassembling you somewhere else as an exact you.
Replica? Yeah.
Well, not replica. You're still you. Break you down and then make your molecules go over there.
You are the computer's interpretation of you.
No. That's the whole point. That was the problem he was having. But anyway, I digress. And then he gets in on his own at one point. This isn't really much of a spoiler for a movie from this old. And a fly is in there with him, and things happen that mix up the DNA, and all heck breaks loose.
Yes.
But why don't we show you the trailer so you can see what we're talking about?
Indeed.
I think you're making a mistake. I think you really want to talk to me.
Sorry, I have 3 other interviews to do before this party's over.
Yeah, but they're not working on something that'll change the world as we know it.
They say they are.
Yeah, but they're lying.
There is a limit, even to the imagination.
Human teleportation, molecular decimation, breakdown, and reformation is inherently purging.
Where our greatest creations meet our deepest fears.
Something went wrong, Seth. When you went through, something went wrong.
You are about to go beyond that limit.
Those weird hairs that were growing out of your back, I had them analyzed. But they were definitely not human.
If you saw how scared and angry and desperate he is.
I'm sure Typhoid Mary was a very nice person, too, when you saw her socially.
No.
You're afraid to be destroyed and recreated, aren't you?
You're changing, Seth. Everything about you is changing.
Oh, no. What's happening to me? Am I dying?
I want to know what's going on.
What does the disease want?
It wants to turn me into something else.
Oh, no.
A fly got into the transmitter pod with me that first time when I was alone.
Don't go back to it. Could be contagious.
Oh,
afraid. Be very afraid.
Help me. Please, help me.
All right. So now, is there anything you have to say about the basic plot? Oh, and there's a girl that likes him.
Oh, there's a love interest.
She wants to interview him, and she's getting pressure from her boss to, like, interview him and give away secrets. And she has to battle between her heart and her job, and also deal with he
turns
is
into
part
like
fly
a
man.
creature man.
Yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, before we get into the behind the scenes information, the meat and beef,
or as I like to call it, the meat and beef of the show,
we will be telling you why we're really here. And sorry if my voice sounds bad. Still, it's going to be a few weeks of coughing and bad sounding voice because of just after effects of COVID. I am perfectly healthy. It's just I sound like garbage. Feel fine. Anyway, what we're really here for is to make money. And how do you do that when you're on local TV like this? Well, usually you don't. So what we did is we pimp ourselves out like, like ladies of the night, and allow large corporations to have their way with us and make us say things.
We are the Gory Storytime Gigolos.
Yeah, we're like
Deuce Bigelow.
Deuce Bigelow, Gory Storytime Gigolo. Anyway, that's so dumb. He says a guy who hasn't watched those movies and shouldn't watch the second one. And the first one, you should be like really, really, never mind. Back to the point. This week, what we did was we sold ourselves to these corporations that wanted us to tell you about these wonderful products. Gory Storytime is brought to you by Oops, the new documentary series dissecting scientific mistakes. Each episode of Oops delves deeply into massive blunders like the invention of leaded gas, DDT, tenuous theories and dubious discoveries like expanding Earth, vitalism, blank slate theory, phrenology, and Piltdown Man. Oops, because sometimes trusting science is a bad idea.
And by Bug Be Gone, the only bug spray that revels in killing bugs. No instant death for insects with Bug Be Gone. We use a poison that paralyzes them and slowly and painfully dissolves them from the inside out. We guarantee they will feel every bit of this agonizing death. Bug Be Gone, because who cares? They're just bugs.
All right. Not PETA approved, I'm assuming.
Good.
All right. Good. Now let's get into the... Come on.
Meat and beef of the show?
That.
Or
as he likes to say, the meat and beef of the show.
Yeah.
See what I did?
See?
Now, this is the behind-the-scenes information. Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to?
I'll go first.
All right.
In a 1987 interview on Sinister Image in 1987, Vincent Price revealed that when this remake was released, star Jeff Goldblum wrote a letter saying, "I hope you like it as much as I liked yours." Price was touched by the letter. He composed a reply and went to see the film, which he described as wonderful right up to a certain point. It went a little too far.
It disturbed the original king of horror. All right. Those involved with making the film remember that the baboon, whose name was Typhoon the baboon, really?
Oh, yeah.
Was very much a wild animal and not an actor. Hold on. You're kidding. Anyway, Typhoon was once startled by the flashing lights in the telepod and broke the door right off to get out. The Wrangler and Jeff Goldblum, who is 6'4", were the ones who had to keep the primate in check. They're very volatile. There's no such thing as a tame baboon, Cronenberg said. Jeff, because he was bigger and stronger than the baboon, I don't know about that second part, was able to dominate him, and the baboon's wrangler said it was a good thing that the baboon formed that relationship, like accepting him as the leader. Otherwise, there would have been big trouble on set with some of the female members of the crew.
Yikes.
Yeah.
After watching some of his early films, director Martin Scorsese asked to meet David Cronenberg. Upon meeting him, Scorsese said he looked like a Beverly Hills plastic surgeon. This inspired Cronenberg to give himself a cameo as a doctor.
The line, "I'm saying I'm an insect who dreamt he was a man and loved it, but now that dream is over and the insect is awake," is a reference to author Zhuangzi, that guy. His famous butterfly dream story. I don't know how you pronounce that. Zhuangzi? I don't know. As a reference to Frank Kafka's famous short story, The Metamorphosis.
The first name mentioned in the end credits is Chris Wallace, Inc., as the creator and designer of the Brundlefly makeup. After a screening, the audience cheered upon seeing this first credit. Producer Stuart Cornfeld turned to Wallace and said,
probably Wallace.
Whatever, you're getting an Oscar. Or you're getting the Oscar. Cornfeld's prediction came true when he did in fact win the Academy Award for Best Makeup, which was also the only nomination and award the film received from the Academy. He claims that this was probably because his name was listed first.
No, it's because the makeup effects are
perfect.
The scene where Seth and Ronnie are having coffee at the restaurant and Seth is talking endlessly was only half scripted when production began. The remainder was written the night before the scene was going to be filmed, as Jeff Goldblum felt he could add more to the character.
The fly's vomit was made of honey, eggs, and milk.
Mel Brooks didn't want people to know he was a producer on the film because he thought people wouldn't take it seriously if they knew he was involved. He was also involved in Mask, the movie about the kid with the facial...
Never seen it.
Yeah, well, anyway. It was either that or The Elephant Man. I think it was Mask. Anyway, not really the point. So he thought people wouldn't take it seriously. When people did find out, he made the most of it by handing out dealy boppers at the premiere. I don't know what dealy boppers are, but
it sounds like something that people wouldn't take very seriously.
Right.
It took nearly 5 hours to apply the most extensive makeup stages to actor Jeff Goldblum.
Several sequences were filmed but cut from the final release, including a sequence where Brundle sends a cat and surviving baboon through the telepods, resulting in a mutated creature he beats to death with a pipe.
Oh my God.
A scene where Brundle climbs outside of his building as an insect limb emerges from his side, and an alternate ending with Veronica having a dream about her unborn child. This time it had beautiful butterfly wings.
I would have liked to see a couple of those.
Next.
According to David Cronenberg, the line, "Be afraid, be very afraid," was invented by Mel Brooks while discussing how characters should react to the early stages of Seth Brundle's transformation.
David Cronenberg was surprised that the film was seen by critics as a metaphor for AIDS. He intended the film to be a general analogy for disease itself, terminal conditions like cancer, and more specifically, the aging process.
Seth says, "Drink deep or taste not the plasma spring," is a reference to a famous quote from Alexander Pope's An Essay on Criticism. The full quote is, "A little learning is a dangerous thing. Drink deep or taste not the Pierian spring. Their shallow draughts intoxicate the brain, and drinking largely sobers us again."
While working at 20th Century Fox, it was Scott Rudin's suggestion that Stuart Cornfeld hire David Cronenberg as director. Cornfeld agreed after Mel Brooks had written an eloquent letter to the boxes at Fox. They agreed. Cronenberg asked for a salary of $750,000. Brooks, Cornfeld, and Fox countered with an offer of $1 million, which sealed the deal. So their counteroffer was more than he asked for. That showed that they were interested in him, you know?
The Chris Wallace Inc. designers studied graphic books on disease as a starting point for the Brundlefly. makeup and creature designs. The final Brundlefly is horribly deformed and asymmetrical. This reflects director David Cronenberg's idea that the creature shouldn't be a giant fly, but rather a literal fusion of a man and an insect that embodies elements of both.
Most of the makeup work and puppets used for the film are located in Bob Burns' collection.
Although his script was extensively rewritten, Charles Edward Pogue still receives on-screen credit for the screenplay. David Cronenberg demanded that Pogue receive credit, claiming that he would have never known how to write the script if not for Pogue's version.
Gina Davis wasn't acting when Jeff Goldblum's right ear falls off. Her reaction in the film was genuine. She was shocked when it was filmed, and David Cronenberg kept the take of her reaction in the film. So they didn't tell her what was going to happen, and they just let it like slowly just fall off, and she was like, ugh. Which
David Cronenberg met with opposition when he wanted to cast Jeff Goldblum in the lead. The executive at Fox, who was supervising the project, felt that Goldblum was not a bankable star, and Chris Wallace felt that his face would be difficult to work with for the makeup effects. Both deferred to Cronenberg's judgment. Cronenberg himself later had reservations when Goldblum suggested Gina Davis, his girlfriend at the time, for the other lead role, as he did not want to have to work with a real-life couple. Cronenberg was convinced after Davis's first reading that she was right for the role. Producer Stuart Kornfeld suggested that they audition more actresses, saying that it's the script that is brilliant. Kornfeld relented after. Nobody else came even close.
I mean, she did a great job for her part. The Fly was originally supposed to be directed by Tim Burton.
That would have been
very
different movie.
Yeah. Like, he would have grown scissor hands, and
he would have just become a fly with a man's body.
He would have lived, Halloween 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Fill in other Tim Burton reference here.
Yeah.
Third Tim Burton reference. Just a reference to not...
Rotten Tomatoes
yes,
is a website that brings together the likes of every critic and any person who wants to be part of their
they're two
numbers.
separate numbers.
All right.
Yes.
They take all the critics who say yes or no to this movie, and they put those together, and they even it out to find out what the positive number is.
Yeah, what percentage gave it a positive review. And then for the people, they do the same thing, but that's a separate number.
It is.
What do the critics say about this?
The critics have this at a 93% approval rating.
And the people have it at 83, which is weird because usually it's higher with, like we'd say all the time, with
a horror movie like this.
With a horror movie.
With the gross out horror like this.
Yeah. The
people
critics
usually
like it
do not.
But a lot of people were getting grossed out. Plus, again, this is going to probably be problematic in places for people now, and that's who's voting. It's not people voting in 1986 who loved it. It's people now with
thumbs
today's
down to the dumb
sensibilities.
17%.
Yes. I mean, I thought it was bad that 7% of critics didn't like it.
Right.
All right. Now let's talk about our least favorite scenes because, as I like to point out, it's easy to pick our favorite scene in a good movie. So we always go with whatever. If we like it, we go with least. And if we hate it, we go with most. Our favorite first. So least favorite.
Least favorite was probably the ending.
Yeah.
Where, spoiler alert for the movie from 1986, but like she's got a kid, and they think that it's gonna be his mutated spawn thing, and that's stupid. And I mean, like, I'm not on board for that or the sequel about it.
You said you wanted to see the sequel.
I said I didn't.
That is a lie.
It was Cocoon I wanted to see the sequel.
That too, but that's unrelated to this.
Wow.
He's a liar. He's a liar. And, oh, look, his pants have burst into flames.
They have. I'm patting them out.
My least favorite scene or thing in the movie would probably be Gina Davis's boss. Now, I'm nitpicking because you
he's
needed
necessary
him.
For this story.
Like, it's a important.
If he wasn't pressing her as hard as he was, she would have never gone.
Well, she would have, but she would have been
quit
able
the
to
first
worry
day.
more
Like,
about
she left.
helping him. You know, right? But I'm saying like she was also kind of like crushing on the dude.
Well,
She would, but you needed it for the movie. So I'm literally just picking like guy you need to hate.
as
I did.
the guy he hated.
What was your favorite scene?
Oh my goodness. So we agree on this because I couldn't think of something better than that in this movie.
Okay.
So the special effects.
The special effects were amazing.
Like
they were
that
all
guy,
practical.
Oscar, well worthy.
Yeah, it won the Oscar for special effects for a reason. Makeup effects. I thought that they were amazing. If you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, because this is
His ear falls
big.
off.
No, not that. She dreams that when we kind of talked about it, but she dreams that she gives birth to a giant, wet, disgusting maggot, and people were getting like nauseous watching that scene in the theaters.
It's amazing.
It's kind of understandable.
It was like exactly perfect.
We have
for what they
iron
were going
stomachs,
for.
but for someone that gets sick at gross things, that was gross.
That's not the one for them. So, on I think you said this before, a scare of 1 to
I
10.
don't think I did because that would be stupid.
He's nodding. He recognizes
Have I said
it
that? Well,
because it would be stupid.
I mean, that would be why I would have said it, which is why
Right.
you said it.
What would you rate this on a scale of 1 to 10?
Honestly, I'm going 9.5.
I'm gonna have to meet you at 9.5. The only reason that I even knock off the half a point is that I feel like this could have been closed at the end and just been its own thing and didn't need sequel.
Again, he lies. And the sequel's not bad. It's not this.
What is? Only this.
Like, of course it goes downhill. That said, it's worth watching. But definitely don't expect it to even
Definitely my
achieve-
favorite Jeff Goldblum movie.
Really? Okay.
I'm saying that right now, not knowing all of the Jeff Goldblum movies I've seen.
I mean, Jurassic Park?
Yeah, this is better.
Yeah. Also sci-fi, but not horror, so we can't review that. Not on this show.
No.
Like, we stretch...
Horror
but that would be...
adjacent? No.
Anyway.
It would be scary if
All
dinosaurs
right, so
came
both
back.
said 9.5.
Yes. And there's the stuff on the side, right? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm at the right place. You can watch this show on Fact TV channel 1082 Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m.
You can like us on Facebook, and like I say every week, when I say like us, I also mean not just Gory Storytime, but Fact TV. And then
And
you can
me
see live
personally, you could
streams.
like me. Please like me. Nobody does.
Don't send me friend requests. If I don't actually know you, I don't.
No, not friends request. Like me as a person.
Oh, well.
Enjoy me.
That's highly unlikely. Knowing you as well as I do, that
you can go to fact8.com and watch a bunch of the back episodes of this, as well as many thousands of hours of entertainment.
you can also follow us on Elon Musk's personal, notepad. I mean, Twitter. I'm at Craig Jakes, all one word, all lowercase.
I'm at Jiggly Fernbrain. I have to log back in.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. And also check out Gory Storytime on YouTube. If you type it in, 2 pages pop up. Mine, please like and subscribe. And Fact TV, like and subscribe. Check out all their cool other stuff.
Yes. And until next week, with not a sci-fi horror movie, but
Yes.
a brand new one.
Yes, we're going to review one of our top pick for the new year.
Go back and watch that episode and know what we're talking about. Until next week, I've been your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig.
And
Sweet
sweet
dreams.
dreams.